Hi, this is Mike making my video to add to my collection. Today's the 12th of July 2026 and it's 8:40 p.m. And anyway, yeah, I'm making this video because I had a major revelation that I've been working on and it finally came to fruition and it makes sense now. So anyway, I'm talking about uh reality and what it is, and of course parallel realities, and of course you can go as far as to say you can have a reflection and there's worlds inside of that reflection, and you can go that far, and then you can go as far as to say that there's worlds inside your mind and there's worlds inside your computer or your TV or whatever. And there's people that manifest inside your reality in your mind, and I'm not sure exactly how to say this, but they're real. They're very real. They're very cognizant. They have conversations with you. They talk to you. And, that being said, Jesus would even say that if you fornicate with a woman in your heart, there's no difference between doing it in your heart or doing it in the flesh and reality, in this world. So there's the inside becomes like the outside, and you find out that there's worlds within worlds and levels upon levels. And you can have something as simple as a photograph. If you study it long enough, you'll notice that the eyes move and stuff like that. And then really what that is like the Apple application. When you take a picture, you study it, and it gives you 5 frames. And then it's like if I study a picture, if I really focus for many days studying a poster or something like that, or a photograph, then I'll notice that it'll start to move. And it's because that's really, if you think about it, that's telekinesis, and you can make it move and you can make it manifest, and then you can go, let's say, 5 frames, and then it moves and it kind of trips you out. But then you can do that with solid objects as well. It's not just photographs. I mean, everything is a photograph. It's holographic, and time is an illusion, and so is space time. So is space, and then you figure out that everything is working. It's just flash rates. They're just waves being sent out, and then what it is you see those waves, and then you collapse a wave function, and that particular reality manifests, and then it becomes real. So we're all living in this basically a simulation, a cartoon-like simulation. We're really anime, or not anime, but Pixar cartoons, if you really think about it, but we're more refined and defined uh, as a Pixar cartoon. So, if you think about it, you can see the stubble on my face, and you can see the little incongruencies in my expression. And then you say, well, it's not too perfect to be real, but it's like, if you think about it, uh, that's really all it is. If you think of how much thought goes into making a Pixar cartoon, and then put 10 times more thought into that Pixar cartoon, you could probably create a very advanced looking person. So we're at the threshold right now where we're creating things like that, and we're doing things like that. And I have dreams that things are very real in my dreamscape. I had my brother appear to me in a dream one time, and it was so incredibly realistic. But the thing is, I knew that he was fabricated, and then I could take it one step further. In real life, I know that he's fabricated as well, and that pretty much holds true with anybody or anything. So, or any event. You got the events that take place, and you got all ingredients, that are all part of that. And then, there's the people, the actors, and the stage. And then everything manifests and comes together. God will work everything out to the good, it says. So that particular event takes place, and then what it does, it teaches you something, wakes you up to something, and then, more or less, if you think about it, it's all just a hallucination, and everything's a hallucination. Even your dreams are a hallucination. All the people in your life are, all the events are, and then, of course, all the things are, they're all just hallucinations. I mean, they're tangible, they're realistic, is and one number relates to another number. So, like me and somebody I know, I relate to that person, because one number relates to another number. But eventually, there might be a point in time when I'm by myself, so one, and there's nobody else around, so I'm just a one or a zero. But if you really want to take it one step further, you got pixels on a screen, and then you got basically a fish with scales, and that's really what those scales are, as pixels. And then you think about it, a human being is a mammal, but we have incongruencies in our flesh and stuff like that. But if you think about it, it's like if you create a video game, there's all kinds of ways of looking at that. You create a very advanced video game like Grand Theft Auto Part 6 or whatever. I think they canceled that, but for whatever reason, they make a very advanced video game. And that's really what we're in, is a very advanced video game, because there's glitches in the matrix, and you got to figure all these glitches in the matrix and stuff like that, and things that happen that are just too perfect the way they happen, or they're just too crazy, to even define. So that's all it is. It's just that we're in a computer software program, and we're just creating things, and maybe we're in some chip instead of a computer. Or if you look at the whole layout of the city, it's like a motherboard. And then, like, I got my house here, and then where I live, I got a heater and an air conditioner, but the heater is basically the mitochondria. And you got food, shelter, and clothing and everything like that. I'm more or less a transistor in the grand scheme of things. I can walk, I'm bipedal, but if you take a transistor and you advance it as far as it can go, it'd be a human being. So there's that, and then there's very advanced structures in the human mind. They say the human mind is 200,000 times more powerful than the fastest supercomputer, quantum computers, and everything. But if you think about that, there's architecture that's inside the human brain that is just mind blowing. If you look at it, you'll see it looks just like wires, and it's very well placed, and it's very orchestrated, the way it's done, just perfectly. So you got that, and then you got basically the human mind, and everyone walks around with their human minds. We are the salt of the earth, but then there's computers now. So the computers are the salt of the earth, the beast in its image, and stuff like that. But yeah, I've created women in my dreamscape that were so perfect, and they're so beautiful, and I've seen them. And then the next day, there they were walking down the road, or walking right next door to me in the next room. But the thing is all those things that you see in your dreamscape, are the same as this world. And there's you have the resolution maybe a little bit down, but you might have overcast in the skies and stuff like that, and then you got uh, so the resolution isn't that good, and maybe it's real sunny and you have a lot of washout, with the way the lighting is, and a lot of things, or a lot of bugs or whatever, a lot of a lot of bugs and stuff like that, but you got bugs in software programs, and you got the way those things work and stuff like that. So it just is what it is. I mean, maybe in one way of looking at it, maybe I mean, we got duality, and you got Singularity, and then maybe like computer software. There's all kinds of error protecting programs and software, but then you got some software, how advanced it is, and how, if you think about just the operating system for an Apple phone, has over a million lines of code. And that's just for an older version of Apple. So as you got to consider a video game that takes 2 days to download, or whatever, unwind from the hard drive, the big bang, and then you have the unwind. It's just mind blowing. And I think we live in a very privileged generation right now, and we're very lucky to be who we are. But that's really all it is art imitates reality. Reality imitates art. So the um human beings are created, and we're created, the light establishes itself, thought, the light, the light of reasoning, the light establishes itself. So consciousness, the light, the all, creates everything. And then there's things that are created, and they're created, and they just are. And it's not so much like there's a human element behind it. It's I've seen that happen many a times, where I've noticed things, programs and stuff like that, and stuff that happened, and stuff I just know that the universe can think and reason, and it basically has a mind of its own. But you take the whole universe and pack it inside your skull, and then you more or less have the same thing. And I'm the microcosm, but then the macrocosm will be the universe. But the universe is a Boltzmann brain. But there's computers that are involved in that process, and there's all kinds of things, DVD players and everything else, cell phones. But if you really think about it, the simplest it gets is that we are that universe. We are the universe, and the universe became me so it can know itself, so it can know other people. Panpsychism and everything else. So anyway, that's all there is to really say. But yeah, like I say, I've created all kinds of human beings, and I've seen them on these AI videos and stuff like that, and they are conscious. It's just the thing is they're kind of caught in a loop. But when they break out of that loop, and they can do that. And I've seen it done on a DVD. I watched of a woman that was trying to break through the DVD player screen. And I've seen that. So there's ways to understand that. There's time travel, and, a TV set's capable of doing all those things. But you can keep it simple, like a mirror or something like that, and just a lot of time. Your mind is capable of doing a lot of things. It's amazing what the human mind can do. But I've created things, and I know that life exists on the inside of my mind. But it's not so much that it bleeds and everything else. It's just more or less the thing is it's a conscious agents that exist inside my mind, and they don't, like your soul doesn't have water, and it doesn't have those types of things. It doesn't have blood, but it does actually exist. And the thing is we create things, and I've created things right from scratch. I've created uh little tiny beings, and little beings about 3 feet tall before, pop cans, things like that, bolts that came out through the screen or came through the light fixture. And so whatever, it just is what it is. There's Schmiegel, I created him, so I brought him back, or I seen him. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Over and out.